And what? Any additions to the full agenda? Ready. We haven't done it before, so I'm saying at the time.
I thought that we would have to wait for the session to be over.
Okay. But I don't. One. All in favor? Six. Well, on the agenda. Board meetings, June 9th. Book that in, over and over, motion to approve those. All in favor? That's. Election of officers.
I would like to nominate John Sullivan as chairman.
Could I have a clarification?
Yeah.
Are we nominating all new for, we're not just moving our vice president into president?
No,
Okay.
as a practice is that you nominate for each one. It can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be.
I would move, let's see, AJ.
So we have to do it one
Yeah,
person
we
at
do
a
one
time.
Right.
Oh, yes, so it's vote for me, yes or no. If I fail, then it goes to John, yes or no. If I fail, then it goes to H, yes or no.
All right.
So we're seeing these two.
First,
Yeah, so first for Angela. Board, all in favor of Angela being president,
Or chair.
board chair,
or chair.
board chair. He was president of presentation earlier. I'll let you. All against?
I saw Vicky's radio all hands.
So three. So that's, and then, Modi, all vote for John Sullivan. Two. Martha nominated me. I'll vote for AJ. Thank you.
You've done a great job.
You're the best. So Angela. Do you accept?
I accept.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're not gonna do it for this meeting?
Would you like me to?
There you go. If you want to be in the middle.
Right.
You want me to run it for you?
Yes. but-
You might explain it to me.
Yeah.
That's right.
You mean to do vice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then nominate for vice.
I'd like to nominate AJ for vice chair.
I second that.
Any other nominations? All right. All those in favor of me being vice chair? Take it. Thank you. You want me to run it?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
You
just had
to make sure you.
Yeah, that's right. We got the informational. Reports and discussions, introductions and district at a glance.
So we thought we could, since we have 2 new board members, we thought we would introduce our admin team to you. So they can just introduce themselves, tell you the building that they're at and whatever else they'd like to say.
We already did that before the meeting.
Yeah, I know. I gotta do it publicly. Could start with you, James.
So I'm Jim Wright, at the high school. I'm the athletic director for both high school and middle school, and the vice principal for the high school, along with several other hats.
As you know, I'm Sam Dockery, the high school principal.
Becky Armistead, middle school principal and K-12 special ed director.
And Courtney Rayner, elementary principal.
No other hats.
I was gonna say,
She has other hats.
We all do.
Small district.
Would you like to introduce yourselves, our 2 new members?
Corey, yeah, new member. Claudia Powers, new member.
New members.
And Amanda Steinloff, business manager. Got that you all.
Brent Robertson, Director of Operations and Bond Projects. Nice to meet you.
And you'll notice that in the next board meeting, we'll have an information sheet that we all collaborate together. And so it'll be a rundown of what each building is doing and how it fits under our district goals. Also, what you have with you in front of you is 2 calendars. One will say public and one will say staff. This year we'll put out a public one that isn't as confusing to where if we have staff have like 10 different colors and that got confusing for some parents. And so we made a more simplified public calendar. We're still working with the union on a possible of a change at one date. So there still may be one more time that we revise this, but we wanted to get something out so the parents can see the start date and the end date. Again, there will be a possibility of just one date change and it will be later on in the year. So we're still talking about that date. So that's why there's 2 separate ones here. One is the actual teacher calendar, work calendar, and one will be the one that goes out to public that's simplified. I believe there is we have positions filled. We don't have any current teaching positions open. We're still working on schedules. High school schedule just got completed. And so we're working on the middle schedule right now. And that should be complete, a little bit behind than we usually like to be, but we're getting it done. As you, Amanda will talk to this, but as you will notice that I'll actually let you talk to it and then you can talk about it afterwards after you do your slideshow. Okay. So she has some information for you about class sizes and different directions that we're starting to go in the district, which is the conversations we've been having all last year that will start to downsize some of our teaching positions won't be replaced as people retire. Unless they absolutely have to, if we don't have anybody else on staff that can do it, but you're going to start seeing that starting next year where we won't have classes under 10. That was a past practice of the past superintendents. Both Mr. Ardiana did that and Mrs. Buki did that. So there will be exceptions to those rules, like hiring classes, graduation requirements we may have to look at, but there is only 4 or 5. We might put those in with another class so that we can be able to do that. But she'll be able to talk to our numbers and where we're at currently in the district.
Decided I should go over there. It might be easier for people to see. We'll give it a shot.
I don't.
See my mouse up there, but it's not coming up on the. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Wait, let me see if they're beginning. Okay. So I just wanted to give a little bit of an update, on budgets. Obviously, we have an adopted budget now, and things have changed a little bit, so we're gonna be seeing some changes to our actual expenditures, and we kind of want to know a projection of what that's gonna look like in the future and how to plan for it and kind of how big of a difference that is above our adopted budget. And then, like Shauna said, we'll go over a little bit also of kind of some staffing numbers, from ODE and kind of where we sit there. But, so our beginning fund balance, we budgeted in the general fund at 3.1 million. We came in a little bit above that, which is nice, at about 3.4 million. We're on a modified accrual basis of accounting, so things are kind of still coming into last year, actually, because the expenditures have to be realized when they are actually occur. So that's going to change a little bit. It will likely go down a little bit after our audit gets started and things kind of get moved to exactly where they need to be, to get everything in alignment with where our auditors want it. This is going to be kind of hard to see. I realize that. But, hang on, bear with me. No, okay, whatever. I'll explain. It's kind of cut off. So what this is basically is you're looking at actual numbers. This comes from one of the tabs on our budget spreadsheet, which we spend countless hours and days and months going over. But basically this has our actual revenues and expenditures all of these years. It brings into account the state school fund formula, all of our local sources, our state sources of revenue, and then what our actual expenditures came in at for all of those years. So down at the bottom, I know you can't see it, but it has our ending fund balance for all of those years. Sorry, I don't know why it's on the screen. But basically what I wanted to show here is we did kind of a whole new 2-year budget, so we could project exactly where we are as close to possible as where we're going to be 2 years from now, at the end of next year, at the end of the year after that. And so if you can see this slide, our budget for the 25-26 projected year, that's a negative 106,000, meaning we're going to be, with the changes that are in the BEA proposed contract, we're going to be a little over $106,000 in the general fund over what was budgeted for salaries and benefits. Which that's just, was something we don't really, know. You can't have a crystal ball to know exactly what you need to put in the budget, but we try our best. So that's where that line is going to be. That's where it's at right now. The projected budget in 26-27, if you could see that number, what that is saying is that if all expenditures are made as they are in the budget, then at the end of next year, we would be $2.7 million in a deficit. Now, thankfully, that's not what happens. We don't always spend everything we budget, but we need to take into account if we're putting it in there as a possible expenditure, it could be made because the board has appropriated for those expenditures to be made. So they could happen. So it's something we just think about, and we always have to have it on here. So sorry you can't see the bottom of that, but that's what that says. So this is a more likely case of what's going to happen instead of us being in a $2.7 million deficit at the end of next year. Thank goodness we're not hopefully going to be there. But so this is taking into account
if we spend roughly 85% of the budget in general fund expenditures, it's a much more likely scenario. And this is taking into an account kind of being conservative, like trying to cut back a little bit on consumable supplies and things that we can control outside of salaries. So these are actual numbers going from the blue column, orange column, gray column, yellow column. Those are actual numbers. That's kind of where we ended up all those years. The 24-25 year was obviously last year. And those, as we said, aren't fully audited numbers. The 24-25 isn't fully audited numbers yet, but so we're beginning with that 3.4 beginning fund balance there in the blue. Next year, so that was a decline of about $1 million from the year before in our beginning cash, and the year before that was a decline of 790. You see on the left-hand side there, we did have, you know, a temporary increase in the beginning fund balance due to the COVID or ESSER funds. So that really helped because those were well managed in our district, thank goodness. So that helped kind of cushion the beginning fund balance there a little bit. But as you can see, this is the direction that we're heading right now. That's what it looked like at the beginning. So that's saying July 1 of 2027. We would have at the beginning of the year about $589,000 in the bank. That is a really scary thing to think about because last year our average payroll with just the salaries and the payroll costs associated with that was about $920,000 per payroll. So having $500,000 in the bank would be a scary time. You know, before revenue starts flowing in, it would be hard to make payroll if we got to that point. So that's kind of what this graph is saying here. Okay, so here is a little bit of what I mentioned before. So in the budget that we have adopted, we have in the BEA potential agreement, we would be $106,000 above what's in the adopted budget for license salaries and benefits. In the special revenue funds, we would be about $27,000 above what's in the budget for a total of $134,435 above what was budgeted. And then these would be the costs of license salary and benefit, and which I appreciate Martha asking kind of what does this mean? What's in there? What do these numbers look like as a whole? So this is just taking into account what those salaries would look like for the district. And those salaries are about $627,000 above salaries and benefits, $627,000 above the 24-25 fiscal year numbers. So knowing this comes to a point where, depending on where we are in the year, a little bit farther down, we're going to see, you know, where our actual expenditures are coming in at, and we may or may not need to do a supplemental budget in order to be able to pay those bills. And that's, you know, it's not super uncommon. So it's just if we're going to be going above what was appropriated in any of those functions, then we need board approval to be able to pay those bills. So that's what that is. Okay, so you know, we're not alone in budget shortfalls. Absolutely not. So why? I mean, districts all over Oregon and, you know, the country for that matter, they're having budget shortfalls. It's just simply, you know, rising costs and limited revenue. So inflation, increase in salary, benefits, utilities, transportation, supplies, student needs, special education funding is currently capped. So we get a certain amount and we don't get funding for over the 11% currently. So that would help any district. I know funds, you know, all over the country are short. It's just, it's hard to be able to fund exactly where it is needed. Technology demands, facility maintenance, all of those things just kind of keep increasing. And then limited revenue, it's our state school fund is, going up. It's just not going up, our state and local sources are just not going up at the same rate as our expenditures. So that's not fine. So that just kind of shows a little bit about what goes into that. So I actually worked here for about 2 years now. You don't really see decline in student population until you, I guess, look at it on a chart, years and years pass. But here is our average daily membership back from 2015 all the way to our current estimated 25-26. So as you can see, we're in declining enrollment, and that's not uncommon for our area at all. A lot of school districts around us are in declining enrollment as well. But so that's just, it's not great because enrollment is tied directly to funding. So it creates a little bit of a budget shortfall. We, are trying to meet, the needs, but also have less funding. And every year things go up. So it's harder to afford. So what we did was we got some comparative analytics from the Oregon Department of Education. And so this is just kind of a list of some of the comparative analytics that we'll go over today. We're just going to compare some of the comparable districts close to us, all of the positions, staff-student ratios. I won't read through all that, but basically we'll go through a lot, and feel free to ask questions, because I did not put these graphs we're going to go over together. I'm just relaying the information. So if you have questions, ask me and we'll try and figure it out together. But we'll go ahead and go through those. Okay, so this is comparing, this is for all staff in these 3 school districts, Bandon, Coquille, and Myrtle Point. And so as we can see, this is the green, you see FTE count, that's full-time equivalency count. So that's essentially the number of full-time equivalency employees that each district has. Then the blue line is just showing student to staff ratio. So for instance, Bandon back in 2020, we were at a 10.5 student to staff ratio. And then you see that kind of declining down to the right. In 2024, we were down to 5.5. And comparatively, you can see if you go back to the left, 2020, we see our FTE count is essentially just going up, as you can see. Coquille, they started out 2020 was 16.8 down to 8.3. Myrtle Point, 2020, they were at 13.2, now they're 6.8. So that's just kind of showing what some comparative districts look like. And then this is the same exact thing, but this showed their student population. So us in 2020, we had a median of 676, the students of 676. And then as we go over to the right, we're down to 626. Yet our FTE went up. So our student population went down, but FTE went up. That makes sense.
Those are full-time FTE again.
But yeah, full-time equivalency. So, some people are 0.5, some people are 0.75, et cetera. So that's just adding them all together, the total amount of full-time equivalency employees.
I noticed a spike in the FTE on the 23, 24 of everybody's. Not ours is more gradual, theirs are spikes. What is that due to the ESSER funds that came in?
I think that's due to COVID. So back in 2020, 2021, everybody had less employees, likely because a lot of school districts were closing down or they were still kind of recovering from the pandemic. So my thought was in, 2023, especially, people started hiring back again because the kids were coming back to the classrooms, was my thought. Yeah, that's a good question. So anyway, so we're at 2024, 626 students. So our enrollment going down, but our FTE was going up. And if you look at Coquille, their enrollment, went up a little bit, back down a little bit. It looks like they had an adjustment in their FTE between 23 and 24. So they kind of realized, that drop in FTE, they adjusted a little bit there. Or realized the drop in their students, so they adjusted the FTE there. Myrtle Point, they have been pretty stable, but they're actually in a little bit of increasing enrollment. As you can see, they went from 524 to 566. And they brought up their FTE a little bit to go with that.
That's where the affordable housing is.
Yeah.
Affordable housing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, more fun.
Oh, yeah, a lot more. Yeah. I thought, well, yeah, exactly. So this one, this is teachers, head teachers, non-special ed. And this is just kind of comparing these three districts, same three districts. So, Bandon 2020, this is student to teacher ratio. So in 2020, Bandon School District as a whole was at 19.5 students to teacher. We went up to 19.8, down to 18.1, and now in 2024, we were down to 15.5. But you'll see as the FTE kind of kept going up. That's what brought that down to 15.5 there. Coquille, they, were up at 23.5. They've gone down a little bit. Theirs is fairly stable, it looks like. Point. You can see their FTE has been pretty stable. And their student to teacher ratio has been pretty stable. They had a little drop in COVID time still back in 2022. But so that's districts as a whole. This one. Yeah, so this one actually goes, this one has students. So this shows three same districts, teachers, non-special ed teachers. And then in 2020, we were at 676 students. We went down to 626, but our FTE actually kind of increasing. And then, you can see the others. I'll go on and on and on.
Where would be the sweet spot?
The sweet spot of FTE, like a student to teacher ratio?
Student to teacher to maintain the budget. And
Yeah, that's a good
same
question.
Teachers.
Most, because I've asked this question lots to business managers all around Oregon, and a lot of them say that they're right around in between 22 and 26. It's if you go to a bigger area, like I was talking to one today, he said generally it was 30. That seems really big to me, but that's what he said. So I mean, with that, obviously it would help budget. There's kind of a happy medium, I think, where like our revenues just aren't what our students really need. I mean, the more people in a classroom to work with a student, the better, obviously, for the student. But then there comes a point where, you have to make sure that it's sustainable. So that's a good question. And I think for every district, maybe it's a little bit different based upon the students and the needs. But from what I've heard from other districts, that they're generally in between, 22 and 30, depending on the area. And more, metropolitan areas, they were up to 25, 30 and above. So I think it depends on the type of classroom too. So this one, here we go, a little bit, but basically it shows our student population going down and our FTE going up. Is kind of just.
So I have a quick question. So is the teacher to student ratio, that's the average across the district, correct?
This one is average across the district, yes. And we will go into buildings. ODE had actually broken down for us by building as well. So we'll go over that too. But this is district as a whole. Yeah, great question. And if anybody wants, I can share, PDFs of these as well from ODE, so you can just look at them closer. I know it's kind of hard to see up there.
Yeah.
So this one, this is kind of the same information. This is just breaking down. This is just our school district, and it just gives you a little bit more longevity to be able to see some history. So starting in 2015, on the left there, we were at 19.8. student to teacher ratio, and then now we're down at 15.5. Over on the right-hand side, it's same information, just in a different way. It just shows the number of students essentially going down and then the FTE going up. So I think next it gets into, yeah, so this is Ocean Crest. This is the data that ODE has from Ocean Crest. So in 2015, we were at 22.4 to 1. We kind of, see that funkiness during COVID. Things kind of got weird, but then now we're down to, and this is in 2024, mind you, this is not this year. And these are the numbers that ODE had. So this is not special education teachers. These are just head teachers. And like I said, I didn't put this information in there. So this is what ODE has. So they were at 22.4 and then down to 17.4 and at 2024. And then Ocean Crest just shows different information there. Student population 254 on the left, and then going down to that 235 on the right. So that's what they had for Ocean Crest.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do experts recommend to be an ideal staffing ratio of student to teacher? I mean, I don't know how to compare this nationally. Are we better than or worse?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, so that's kind of what AJ was touching on too. So it depends for each district. Some people.
I know it depends on what the experts recommend.
22, well.
Yeah.
It matters the grade level. Grade levels it talks about the grade levels, like kindergarten, they don't say 30 is a great number to have in each.
No.
They usually say 15 to 17 would be a great number to have, or high school could be 34 to 40 because they're more independent. So they talk about different grade levels, different age appropriate, different needs, right? So special ed students would never be in a class of 30. They may stay in the smaller groups like us. We have 10 to 12. So just the projection is broken up by grade levels is what they predict you to have. Like Washington has caps.
I'm just trying to answer my question.
Okay.
Okay, so remember that one. So this is the information they had for Harbor Lights. 2015, we were at 25 to 2 according to ODE, and then now 2024, we were down to 17.7. And then over to the right, same thing, has student numbers, started at 240, down to 198, that's what it says. So staffing, kind of up and down a little bit, but essentially kind of going up a little bit, staying pretty stable, but our student population is going down.
Do you know how they count staff who work part-time in high school and they also teach middle school classes? How do they count those staff?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're supposed to, there's a report that we submit, and it's broken down by, say someone is like half-time at the high school and half-time at the middle school. That's broken down in this report that we export from our software system that has, each building has an identifier. So that person then would be 0.5 at this identifier building and 0.5 at this identifier building.
And
So they should
have contain have at least 3 TOSAs in the district. Is it
Yeah.
counting those as the teachers?
No, it's not, because it just says, great question, because I asked that, and she said, no, it's head teachers only is what they're counting. Yeah. Yeah, good questions. And then here is our high school. It looks like in 2015, they had us at 15.6 student to teacher ratio, and then in 2024, they had us at 12.4. And then the same information off to the right, our student population kind of has gone down, as you can see there. Okay, that's all of those lovely green graphs. So really, I guess just to wrap it up, we saw, as you recall in the graph, we had, kind of a one-time influx of ESSER funds, COVID money, and so our fund balance is kind of going up, we kind of leveled out, and then now we're kind of heading in a different direction. So we kind of need to be proactive and come up with some ways that we can, work together to kind of even that out. So, our school district is not immune to the same challenges that districts all over the rest of the state are facing. It's, there's just expenditures are outpacing revenue. So, even with some strategic changes, we could be heading in that direction at July 1, 2027 of, having not a super strong ending fund balance. And that's something that I lose sleep over because, as I said earlier, payroll last year was about $920,000 total each month. And that's not counting June's. June was way over $1 million. But yeah, so it's just kind of something we want to, put that information out, be proactive about. How can we kind of right the ship, for lack of a better term, kind of come up with some changes.
So just to clarify, I guess, kind of all the information that you just shared with us, what I'm getting from all of this is that you're trying to say that due to a decrease in student enrollment, with an increase in staffing, you're saying that our student to teacher ratio needs to increase.
Correct. And I wouldn't say that I'm saying that. I would personally, I mean, the more teachers per student, the better. I'm saying as a funding standpoint, that's kind of what I think we need to look at, and not necessarily just
projected date or number that you're trying to reach with that
for class
for
sizes.
class sizes.
Well, like Shauna mentioned, it's different for each grade level. It's different for each building. It's different for, the needs of any particular kid, student. But as a whole, from what I hear, on average, 22 to 25 is probably a decent place to be, even if we could increase a little bit. And that's, FTE as a whole, not talking teachers per se, just teachers. Just kind of saying there's expenditures are outpacing revenue.
So will this affect I guess non-essential classes such as art, music, speech and debate, those types of things? Are you saying that those programs are going to be cut down, or what's happening?
No, yeah, and maybe that's a better question for Shauna.
What we're saying is we're overstaffed in certain areas,
Could you
and
clarify those areas?
high school's overstaffed, as you can see, 12 to 1, where I have in my elementary, that's higher numbers. And actually the projections for next year, our elementary is at 23 to 1.
Yeah.
Where our high school is barely 15 to 1. So the overstaffing, they have classroom sizes of 4 kids, 7 kids, which would be ideal for an elementary. It's not really ideal for the high school, and it's long-term. Our district couldn't afford to continue to do that. So when we looked at the schedules, when we built the schedules, we looked at those types of things where we don't need to offer 3 sections of the same thing. So we don't need to have 7 kids here, 11 kids here, and 14 kids here. Maybe it just needs to be 2 sections instead of 3. That doesn't mean we're not offering it. We're still offering it, but it's in the 2 instead of the 3 sections.
So you're limiting the time frame availability.
I would say choice in your schedule isn't going to be as open, maybe. It's still kind of tight even right now with all of those, but it'll get a little bit tighter as time goes on. But we aren't what we're trying to prevent is cut any programs, right? We have programs that don't have the interest level of students. And so those numbers are very small. And so we're trying to create interest in different programs. That's why with band, we have it 7 through 12 it's something that we're hoping to do with future programs too, like art. Those are the types of things we want to keep those programs, but we really need to manage them a little bit different and look at those type of numbers and the interest level of the students so we can keep some of those programs.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah,
I just, I've heard the district talk a lot about their priority of being academic rigor. And I think that everyone in this room agrees that fewer kids are in class,
more staff, the better to achieve that goal. All of this data is really only looking at costs of teachers. What about all the other costs in the district, the admin costs? You have graphs that show, or, you know, the ratio of admin costs to number of students, the size of the district. It seems like that should be part of this conversation too.
Absolutely, yeah. In the first slide, we had the total staff, which is showing our total staff numbers. We're overstaffed as a whole compared to other districts. I think it was this one. Yeah, so this is taking all staff, kind of comparing to other districts. So all staff as a whole,
Including
Right.
admin.
yeah.
Janitorial and all that.
Yeah.
So is there a slide that
Classified.
just has admin students that you know?
There's not, ODE did not have that information. I can see if they do have it though. I didn't, this is from a dashboard that I don't have access to. But a friend at ODE got this for me, which was super nice. So I can ask her if they do have that broken down. They.
Slide that showed the budget again, so that you can see the teacher, admin ratio.
Slide you're talking about. Let's see if we can find it.
Oh, that one right there. No,
Oh, that one.
that one.
And I wish it was cut off in the bottom. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Mandy, you could read some of it out loud if you're interested.
Yeah. Well, I'm up here. There.
Guess the big question is the salary section. It's almost 6 million. 1.6 of that is for admin. Is that correct?
Which line are you at?
I'm down on expenditures, 100 for salaries. For 25-26.
25.6, 1.6 million, that's classified and confidential. So that would be all of our classified employees, our educational assistants, janitors, secretaries, and confidential employees, which would include myself. That would include
Jackie,
part of Bonnie, part of Brent. And then administration, that's where you would find the administrators. So that, I think it's $5.99 if I can read it correctly.
And then if it's
What was that?
who's all in the admin, sorry.
Oh, sure, yeah, in the admin, that would be like superintendent, that would be all of our principals, vice principals. That's it, you're done, that's it. And I have so many, working on budget for so much of my life lately. I have so many, charts and graphs and things like that that I can share. If anybody wants to see those, I kind of outline that a little bit. I tried to, it's really chart heavy with all the BE stuff, so I try not to put too much of that in here, but yeah, that's what we learned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll try.
Just share that. Some of us on sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, just.
Hey, Brent, what's going on?
Yeah, I guess I'm next. So I'm Brent Robertson, I've already said, Director of Operations and Lawn Project Manager for the district. So we just thought maybe we would give a little update to most of the board members, but everybody else about some of the projects we've been working on, bond projects and otherwise. So we're happy to say that we got a brand new gym floor, courtesy of our insurance at the middle school. We had some major water damage on that floor, it bubbled. We had insurance replace the whole thing. So that's kind of nice and exciting for them. They should be finishing that project up this week. So that'd be nice. Becky's kids will get to play on a brand new floor, never been touched before.
On the first day of school and
On the first day
everything.
of school. So yeah, excited about that little project, that we were able to get that done. And then maybe the biggest thing, everybody saw that big white half of a building out there. That's our new bus barn that if anybody doesn't know that. So that one is about 75% done. So I'm very excited about that. It has been kind of an arduous task to get through this last few years, but we have done it. And that should be just finishing up at the end of this month, maybe the 1st of September, a little bit. We're wanting to get the buses over here before the new year starts out. Anyway, so we're really excited about that, and that'll be the last kind of the bond projects for our bond that we passed a few years ago, and that'll be all tied up. Nice boat.
Are we gonna put a big old abandoned logo on that thing? A big
That
old
would be
tiger
pretty
logo?
fantastic, wouldn't it?
Donations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as it's not depression gray, I will be super.
It's white to black, just like you see it, white with a black trim. It's nice and pretty. Yes.
Can I ask a question,
Absolutely.
unrelated to the barn?
Yep.
At the beginning of the school year, generally there's big cleanup day, like go over all the weeds from the summer and repaint the courts and all of that sort of thing. Is there a date
Yep.
for that? I think we volunteered for that in the past.
I'm not sure. That's usually been, I think it's been a kind of a Sheena thing. I believe it's who has kind of headed that up. I can ask. But Sheena did work for us during the summer and helped us clean up most of our district, all the flower beds and stuff. So that was very nice of her. But yes, we are going to be going through with my crew and going through everything. But I will ask her if there's any potential.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, I don't know, maybe it's been a couple of years, but if there is a volunteer day that we can,
Okay.
you know, each grab a bag and a weed eater and.
Yep.
Frozen mulch.
Yeah, that's been certainly happening. But yes, I will get back to you. Actually, any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Gil.
All right, action items 5.01, bills. Can I get a motion to pay the bills? You look over the ones, abstain if you're on the list. Sure.
I motion. Okay, vote.
I move that we pay bills in the amount of $969,636.45.
I second.
All in favor? Pay the bills. 5.02, resolution 1, annual organizational resolution.
I move we.
Yeah.
Accept the annual organizational resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Resolution passed. Thank you. And you guys looked over our board operating protocol? It's fabulous, and we'll all get a signed copy of that together. So can I get a motion for the board operations protocol?
A motion to approve.
Approved.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Yep. Passes. And the board superintendent operating agreement. You read these also in our packet? Excellent. Can I get a motion?
I move we accept that packet.
Get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Passes. School board code of conduct. Also in our packet. Read it.
I move to approve.
Thank you. Campbell, second.
Second.
Favor? That's signed. Passes. B 5.06 BEA collective bargaining agreement 2025 to 2028.
I can't do anything. I can't motion. Would like to motion.
Who would like to motion?
I motion to approve the 2025-2028 agreement.
So can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Can I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Five. Opposed? Thank you. Passes. 6.0, This is our executive session. At this time, it'll be closed to the public. Thank you for understanding. While we go over this, just have you all exit. Then I will call it back in. Come out of executive 6:34. Thank you all for your patience as we held that brief executive session. Would you like to
Yeah.
discuss it?
Speak to the issue.
Speak to the issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
The issues that we have on the table this evening are grievances against the superintendent, and grievances that have been filed by the union against certain procedures that have taken place for the reassignment of teachers. And so the complaint against the superintendent has to be put on hold until the union grievances, which have been filed against the district, are resolved. So at this time, the process for the union grievances is going forward, and the process regarding the superintendent, the complaint, has been tabled until such time as the grievance is resolved.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, and now we're going on to public input. We're in, I have my list. Just quick reminder, as we're going into public input, we get 3 minutes to hear your lovely voices speak on topics you wish. And just remember, let's not talk about personnel, since it will be one-sided. It'll be against our policy. So we can say thank you. Zoe, you're up first.
Thank you for having us all. I'm Zoe Bradford-Eastereth, and I'm a parent of 2 kids in the district. I understood that public comment needed to be relevant to the agenda items today, so I specifically just wanted to address the resignations. I think all of you are aware that in early July, I submitted a letter to the school board detailing my concerns about the district's treatment of teachers, specifically in regard to the contract negotiations and the involuntary transfers that were announced in late May. I was motivated to write that letter out of a very deep concern that we were on the verge of losing some of our best teachers in this district. I think the climate within the district and the superintendent's conduct had really eroded morale and trust to an all-time low. My fear was realized just days after submitting that letter. It was a very long letter, when Ashley Pearson resigned from her position as high school English teacher and speech and debate coach. As her fellow colleague and ELA teacher put it, Ashley was a treasure, in quotes, and someone who my freshman daughter was eagerly anticipating having as a teacher this year in speech and debate. I am relieved that mediation resulted in a much needed pay raise for our teachers, but I feel like it came at a terrible price. A vast amount of damage has been done to teacher morale and to community trust along the way. Unfortunately, it's not all behind us. The involuntary transfers have still not been adequately addressed or convincingly justified, which makes it hard to wonder if they are indeed targeted retaliation, a union busting tactic, or ideological scrubbing of our classrooms. All of you here, members of the board, the administration, have a great deal of power to shape Bandon schools. You've been chosen to lead this district, and I hope that from that vantage point, you can see that there still remains some deeply troubling issues that have yet to be resolved and that continue to eat away at this district. There are some things that even better pay cannot wholly fix. I know you've received a lot of emails and complaints, none of which the district chose to make part of today's meeting, despite a near constant stream of feedback and requests from the community this past month. As board members, I hope you will use your power to make this district a better place, more transparent, more honest, and more respectful of teachers, parents, and concerned community members. The most meaningful way you can do that right now is by reconsidering the involuntary transfers before the coming school year. I would like everyone to just stop for a moment and think about who you remember from your days in school. And no offense, but I bet it is not your superintendent or whoever sat on your school board when you were a kid. It's your teachers. For me, it's Mrs. O and Mr. Cox, Miss Cowan and Mr. Burris. And they are the people who made a big difference in my life. I think it's very critical that we undo this damage so that Bandon remains a place where great teachers want to make a difference in kids' lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maya Tillis.
Hello, I am Maya Tolis. I just graduated from Bandon High School and I've attended Bandon School District for all of my schooling. I apologize for speaking quickly, but I have limited time. I was surprised with how long it took to get to public forum, so bear with me. I was a captain of the speech and debate team and I've been a member all 4 years of high school. Today, I am sharing my concerns about the state of the speech team. First, I will explain the current state of the team, then explain my concern. Currently, the team does not have a coach. After contract negotiations and involuntary transfers, our coach of 3 years, Ashley Pearson, resigned. I believe there have been some misunderstandings. According to Zoe DeSura, when having a conversation with administration about Coach Pearson's job, an administrator stated, quote, "There are others who can fill her shoes in a heartbeat," unquote. As someone who has seen the ins and outs of speech and debate, I can say that statement is not true. Speech and debate requires multiple night trips, traveling across the country, applying for grants, and hours of after-school work. Not only does a speech coach have to coach a team, they also have to figure out how to pay for it with grants and fundraisers. It should also be noted that Ms. Pearson is the only teacher with a master's degree in communications. After the community expressed genuine and large amounts of concern for the speech team, the district still chose to voluntarily move her to the middle school, and she chose to resign. I am not assigning blame, but because of this turn of events, we are now left without a speech coach. While I wish Bandon School District listened to the community's pleas and support of the team, we are beyond that point. Now, I want all of you to know what you could be losing if the district cannot find a coach. I joined high school without a lot of friends. I was struggling with my mental health so horribly, and I struggled to find joy in school and life in general. I lacked confidence. I then joined speech and debate, and it changed everything. Speech taught me that my voice is valuable. Speech taught me that what I have to say matters, and speech taught me that what every single person in this room has to say matters, and our voices are one of the most powerful assets we have. And if speech didn't teach me that, I would not be here advocating for this team today. Not only did speech show me the power I have, it taught me how to write, research, use sources, develop listening skills and have empathy for others, and embrace opinions I do not share. Speech gives every student a spotlight. I'm confident today because of speech and debate, and I would not be half the person I am without it. Speech was one of my biggest helps to my mental health during high school, and I can't in words stress enough how vital this program is. So please, I am begging you, do not let this program go. Not only do we have a significant amount of state championship trophies, including this year, but we have a dedicated group of kids who have the potential to use their words for good. We have kids in the future who will benefit from this program and use it in their lives every day. We need this program to remind students that they should not be silenced, that they are wanted, and that they need to be heard. Please do everything to find a coach, reach out to the community. Any community members or staff watching this and listening, please consider this position and reach out. Speech was my home, my second family, and my outlet. Please do not take this away from your students. Please do everything you can to fight for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cole Guzman.
I'm not the public speaker Maya is, but I have prepared something. Within the past few years, the middle school has eliminated several positions disproportionate to enrollment decline, including an elective teacher, a 5th grade teacher, a 6th grade teacher, and a PE teacher. Now, our other 6th grade teacher has been eliminated as well, something that should not happen. As a result, instead of being fully reinstated into my previous position as the 7th and 8th grade ELA and intervention teacher, I've been reassigned to teach an additional grade level, increasing my student load by at least 50%. Yet I'm not actually here as a concerned teacher. I'm also standing before you as a parent of 2 middle schoolers who will suffer from the planned changes. At a stage in life that is well known to be among the most challenging behaviorally and emotionally, students will have the largest class sizes, 50 to 100% larger than many classes at the high school level. It is currently planned for the 8th grade to combine into one very large class. This will exacerbate the chaos our students and teachers experience on a daily basis and reduce learning. As someone who gets an inside look at the school every day, I'm not eager to put my own children in this situation. And as their English teacher, I cannot overlook the irony that we are now being forced to explore online school options instead. When the involuntary transfers were made, the main reason the district leaders cited was to improve student test scores and achievement. This will have the exact opposite effect. There are other viable solutions to addressing lower enrollment that would inflict less harm on our children. For example, 1, restructuring the secondary schools into a single school would allow teaching assignments to be more fluid and more evenly distributed among staff members. This would also allow for a reduction in administrative costs. Currently, between the middle school and high schools, we have 2 principals, 1 assistant principal, and 1 teacher on special assignment acting in an administrative role as a behavior specialist. This is double what I had at my last school of over 800 students. 2, consider returning teachers who are on special assignments to teach at least part-time to help distribute the workload in class sizes. When teacher-to-student ratios are given, they are lower than the actual size of classes since not all teachers teach courses. 3, restructure the middle school day into a 6-period schedule since we don't have the staff to support the number of electives a 7-period day requires. I've previously provided schedule options to administrators that would allow for this. 4, increase enrollment and revenue by establishing a program to support hybrid learning and homeschool online families. As both a parent and teacher, I encourage leadership to re-examine the impact of the current plan and reevaluate not only how to better handle the declining enrollment, but why that declining is occurring in the first place.
Amber Burke.
Not there. She's having some car trouble, but may I read her comment? Is that allowed?
Yes. You come to put your name down here?
I can put my name as well. And I'm reading directly what she wants me to say.
Awesome.
No.
Yeah.
From me.
So it's gonna be.
It's gonna be from my voice, but it's her.
Thank you.
Okay, so.
All right, thank you, Heather. You have the floor.
And I'm also a parent. I have 2 kids in school. So she says, what makes small town schools great is community involvement in the process of educating our kids. The support from the community makes it possible to continue to offer important classes that enrich our children's lives, like band, choir, speech and debate, metal shop, wood shop, etc. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way, Bandon School District started spending more and more on administrative expenses at the direct expense of educational opportunities. This cannot stand. Programs being shuttered and high-quality teachers leaving the district is significantly more expensive to the community than their monetary cost. The district has lost the trust of the community, and the only way to correct that will be transparency, which is severely lacking at this time. If the budget has a shortfall, the cuts should be made out of the administration's budget, not the programs that directly affect our kids. If there is not enough trimming from the administration budget, then the school district should consider fundraising opportunities, grant writing, fundraising, meeting with the Dunes and other large companies in the area could help bridge the gap. If that's not being done, if not, why? The district has lost the trust and faith of the students, faculty, and the community. it's up to you to make the changes necessary to correct this, so please do the right thing. And right this ship before it's too late. Thank you.
And as I can do it, I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna motion to end our meeting.
A second.
All in favor? Passes. Thank you all for showing.